Good evening. Welcome to APTN National News. I'm Melissa Ridgen. We begin in southwestern Nova Scotia, where National Chief RoseAnne Archibald, after giving a speech in support of Mikmaw fishers, boarded a Mikmaw lobster boat. It was surrounded by fisheries officers, and she witnessed firsthand Mikmaw lobster harvesters fighting for their treaty rights to harvest. APTN's Angel Moore was also on that boat as it all went down. Here's that story.
You're the one getting close to us. Back away! Get away, Ed!
APTN was on a Sabaganagity Mikmaw lobster boat, the Sadie C, when it was surrounded by fisheries officers on 6 Zodiacs and a large Coast Guard vessel. The traps were seized, but Marcel Marr, captain of the boat, says he will keep fishing.
Someone's got to stand here and fight the fight, so it might as well be me if I want further generations or my children to participate in our Aboriginal fisheries.
Marr and his crew had argued with the DFO officers earlier that day at Soniaville Wharf. Officers said the tags were not recognized by the DFO and the traps would be hauled. Marcel and his family still went fishing.
Regardless of the situation, I decided to remove the tags and fish under a moderate livelihood for my Aboriginal treaty inherent right.
This was the same day as the federal leaders' debate in Gatineau. APTN National Chief RoseAnne Archibald was also on the wharf to voice her support for the Mikmaw fishers.
Promoting peace by respecting First Nations sovereignty and jurisdiction. Respect and peace go hand in hand. Otherwise, unhealthy conflicts will continue, as we have seen here on the East Coast.
After the speeches, Archibald, Sabaganagity Chief Mike Zack and the other dignitaries went treaty fishing. Zack's crew hauled about 150 pounds of lobster. Back on shore, Zack told reporters he did not expect DFO to intervene.
Just picking on a small person, right, and really trying to hit our people in the pocket, and it's very unfortunate. You know, they had an opportunity to get a bunch of chiefs, a national chief, and they chose not to.
After Zack and Archibald left the area, the Sadie C was surrounded by the DFO. Archibald heard about that and came back on a Mikmaw Zodiac, manned by Sabaganagity protectors.
The DFO is like banging up against the boat, trying to stop us from moving forward. That experience, I think, you know, Canadians have to understand that the Mikmaw people are really working at just asserting their rights, and this is what happens to them. It's absolutely not right, and it has to be corrected.
Jolene Marr is the captain's sister. She and her family have been fishing for generations and fighting for treaty rights just as long.
That was such an honor to have her come stand with us, my family and I, as we went and asserted our treaty rights. And for her to witness what our people go through on a daily basis here.
Archibald says she will continue to call for the federal government to uphold treaty rights.
Really upsetting to see their traps being taken from them. They have an inherent and treaty right to do the lobster traps, and the DFO is interfering with that. And there's a great injustice that's happening here right now against the Mikmaw people and their fishery.
The Department of Fisheries say the Mikmaw must fish within the commercial season. The Mikmaw lobster harvesters say they will continue to treaty fish any season. Angel Moore, APTN National News, Chibuktuk, also known as Halifax.
Last year, a recovery home dedicated to Indigenous women opened in Calgary. Well, the program was so successful that the nonprofit organization behind it has opened several more. As Tamara Pimentel shows us, addiction rates are increasing within the Indigenous community there, and the homes are needed now more than ever.
For Edie Severite, this home was a major turning point in her healing journey. When Red Woman House opened its doors a year ago, it was the first house dedicated to Indigenous women recovering from addictions.
It was like a fresh start. It was awesome. Just being able to connect with other Indigenous women, all with the same mindset. We're all fighting for our lives. I know I certainly was.
Now there are 5 of these homes across Alberta for Indigenous men and women, and it's served nearly 60 people so far. The houses are part of the Oxford House Foundation. Executive Director Earl Thiessen is from Loon Lake in Saskatchewan. He attended Oxford House before opening homes dedicated to Indigenous people.
Seeing the lives of people transform, I've been witnessing it for 12 years. I've been witnessing it in myself, right? I broke the cycle in my family of addiction and all types of trauma.
Severite is another success story. The 60 Scoop survivor moved in here with the intent of staying for 1 month, and 6 months later she was ready to move out on her own. Now she's been hired as a board member for Oxford House.
You know, my addiction brought me to a very, very dark hole, a very lonely dark hole. And it just seems so far away. But I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful for this house. I know that I would not be here if I didn't have this opportunity. Having the connection with elders, being able to attend ceremony that Oxford would give us the opportunity to go to.
What sets these houses apart from other temporary shelters? There is no time limit. There's a sense of family. The residents can make the space their own, and they're located away from triggering areas. Oxford House only asks that residents follow a curfew, attend weekly house meetings, and stay sober. Severite says more of these are needed across the country.
It's absolutely crucial to be able to have a place where you can plant yourself and feel safe. There's not enough. I think there's a lot of hurting people out there who need these houses.
Tamara Pimentel, APTN National News, Calgary.
A unique geothermal energy project in northern BC is soon to be up and running. The Fort Nelson First Nation hopes to produce enough clean energy from the project to power 10,000 homes by 2025. APTN's Lee Wilson explains.
The Clark Lake field, signaling the completion of 2 geothermal wells in northeastern BC. Fort Nelson First Nation is one step closer to completing one of Canada's first geothermal projects, and it's 100% Indigenous owned. The plant will use heat generated from fluids inside the earth and create renewable energy. Chief Charlene Gale shared the importance of the project to the region.
And we just want to bring a revolutionary project to our community so that we can share it with our neighbors and our relatives up in the north. And there's a lot of things that come with that, whether it's food security or powering the territory in a way that helps meet our net zero for 2050.
The site was also renamed Tudeka, which translates to water stream in English. It was a former natural gas site, repurposed for geothermal energy. The Fort Nelson region is not connected to BC's main power grid and is still dependent on fossil fuels. The geothermal project will help reduce carbon emissions. Scheduled to be complete by 2025, it is estimated to produce enough clean energy to power over 10,000 homes.
One of the things that's most important and on the forefront of many First Nations minds when they think about economic is environmental stewardship. So there needs to be that balance that happens between the two. You can't have one and not the other, so you have to really find that balance.
Fort Nelson secured nearly $100 million of funding commercially, as well as contributions from the federal and provincial governments. Chief Gale wants Tudeka Geothermal to provide enough jobs for her people to return home and inspire the younger generation to think of new career paths.
Inspire them so that they can pursue career paths and stay close to home, but the opportunities are nation building opportunities. It will create sustainable jobs for our community and neighboring communities in Northern Rockies.
Lee Wilson, APTN National News, Kitimat.
The fourth wave of COVID-19 has hit all 3 of the territories, but how bad it is depends on which territory you're in. In Nunavut, the number of cases holds at just 1, while last week's case in Rankin Inlet has recovered. Today, health officials announced a brand new case in Iqaluit. In the Yukon, there are 20 confirmed positive cases in multiple communities there, but the Northwest Territories is the worst hit, with 137 active cases there and an outbreak in Yellowknife that has caused the day shelter and sobering center to close. Well, last week we aired a story about the Métis designers showcased at Federal Leaders Debate. In that story, we misattributed the designs worn by Governor General Mary Simon at her swearing-in ceremony. It was Julie Grenier's designs that she wore that day. Jake Freeman's designs were worn by an attendee at the ceremony. We apologize for that mix-up. Well, we need to take a quick break, but when we come back, the star of that leaders debate, and no, it's not a politician, Merrick McLeod, the 18-year-old Ojibwe man who kicked off the reconciliation portion of the debate. He's here. Stay with us. Welcome back to the election trail now. Residents of the Northwest Territories have 5 candidates to choose from this federal election, with old candidates, new candidates, and even a few faraway candidates, or one. Here's Charlotte Moore-Jacobs with what they all bring to the table.
Of the 338 seats in the House of Commons, the NWT has but one, a single member of Parliament to represent them. In this 2021 federal election, there are 5 candidates vying for the position. From Béchacon, Kelvin Cochilia with the New Democratic Party. He says he'll invest in all Northerners.
When you look at our neighbors to the east in Nunavut, they already address housing crisis, mental health, addiction. When you look at the neighbors to our west, they talked about climate change and reconciliation. We're trying to build a united northern platform as 3 territories.
Jane Groganwagen from Hay River comes with more than 20 years' experience in politics, having served as an MLA for 5 terms. She says she's running as an independent, so the focus can be unapologetically about the North.
A lot of things that they dream up in the ivory towers in southern Canada don't really play out here that well. A lot of the initiatives that they come up with. So I would like to see, if the federal government has programs and services they want to deliver in the North, I would like to see them tailored to the North with an understanding of what the challenges are here and what would actually work here.
Out of left field, but on leaning to the right, there's Conservative candidate Leah Molson. She lives in Thunder Bay and hasn't ever set foot in the territory. While she hasn't done any interviews with media, she agreed to one with APTN News on September 3rd, but backed out a day before sending this text on the 6th. But the Green Party's first-time candidate, Roland Laufer, did speak with us. Laufer of Yellowknife says his platform is about adding new renewable energy sources and technology to all 33 communities.
That there will be production facilities for alternative energy technology, as well as educational facilities. For example, Aurora College should get the funding that actually up here we can train our own environmentalists, our own environmental engineers, and also engineers and actually inventors for alternative energy sources.
Lastly, Liberal incumbent Michael McLeod of Jaticoin is campaigning to reclaim his seat for a 3rd time. He says the North is finally on the radar in Ottawa, and McLeod promises to invest in housing, pandemic recovery, and more.
The Liberal government has done more in the last 6 years for Indigenous people in the Northwest Territories than any government has done in the last 100. We've moved that dial so far, it's going to be hard to match. And I want to keep that momentum going.
And what do Northerners really want in all of this? Stay tuned till ballots are counted September 20th. Charlotte Moore-Jacobs, APTN National News, Yellowknife.
The English debate for party leaders last week included for the first time ever a segment on reconciliation. Asking a question in that portion of the debate was Merrick McLeod, a member of the Thessalon First Nation. He was a highlight of the evening. Here, take a look.
Ani Bojo. In the Ojibwe culture, trust and respect is key to any relationship. Oh, shoot.
You got it, Merrick. Keep going.
How can I trust and respect the federal government after 150 plus years of lies and abuse to my people? And as Prime Minister, what will you do to rebuild the trust between First Nations and the federal government?
That was such a moment, and he joins us now. Merrick, 20,000 people submitted questions they wanted to ask party leaders. You were one of only 5 people to be selected. What was going through your mind when you got that call to come and ask your question?
I was a bit surprised. You know, I'm just some kid up from, Sault Ste. Marie in Northern Ontario, right? We're a city that isn't really looked at even in provincial or federal politics. So, being First Nations and everything, it was pretty shocking, but it was a very nice experience to get to do.
Well, we all loved seeing you there to kick off that reconciliation block of the program. It was emotional to watch you pause in that moment. What were you feeling?
There was a lot of stuff going on, both technical and emotional. I had an earpiece in, which, I've never done before, right? So I'm hearing the production team in the background. I'm hearing the moderator. I'm hearing the producer saying, okay, it's get ready. You're about to go up. And, having to be there and, be TV ready right in front of the camera. And then boom, you got 1 million plus people's eyes on you. And I was outside my grandmother's house, who, has actually been on APTN. She is, I think it's about a year or two now she's passed. So it was very heavy for me, very emotional. And so, I had all that going on, but when the moderator said, you got this, Merrick, I just felt this wave of support. I could kind of just feel everyone, who was at home rooting for me. It just kind of all swept up and boom, pow, right? And that's when I was able to get that question out. And yeah, it was just a lot.
I was so happy when Shashi Curl, the moderator there, was like, come on, you've got this. Beverly Andrews and I were there for APTN, and I think we all just kind of stopped in that moment. It's like, Merrick. And so I was so happy when you came and you just, you hammered the question. So I have to think, what did you think of the answers that you got?
I was a little disappointed, I'll be honest. I think a lot of them said the right stuff. They got the policy right, but their actions over the last 6 years or beyond hasn't really supported that. I mean, whether it's with Trudeau, a lot of the stuff he's doing is just now. Is that just because, government takes time to get stuff done? Or was that because, we're about to call an election, let's get some good photo ops? And, with O'Toole saying that residential schools were primarily about education, right? I had grandparents that went to residential school. I know that's not true. My own mother, who's only in her 40s, she's a day school survivor. And so, there's a lot of trauma and abuse there. So, I was really hoping that the leaders, at least one of them, would really have that knockout response and, really understand why I was asking that question, Yeah. It's a big job, but someone's got to do it, right? And I'm not sure if one of them can.
Well, do you feel that this election is different in how Indigenous issues and reconciliation are a priority, not for the leaders, but for Canadians, for voters?
Absolutely. Especially with the unmarked graves, this is like a real kind of peeling off the Band-Aid and seeing, how deep this wound is. Mm-hmm. A lot of people just think, well, it's, they're just on reserves, right? Or it happened so long ago, it's not really relevant anymore. And it is. And we're still dealing, especially with residential schools, the long-term effects. Our people are some of the least educated, are the most impoverished, and have the least economic and just overall opportunities in the country, and it's on our own land, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's just,
and that's not even mentioning the trauma, like you said, the trauma and all the impacts that the trauma has that we see, every day in this country among our people. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, we thank you. We love you. We love that question. It was so good to see you up there starting off that debate, that portion of the debate. Thank you for joining us here tonight. We have much appreciation.
Miigwech, and you did great yourself, Melissa. Don't, don't discredit yourself.
Oh, thank you. Well, it's time for us to take another break, but we still have more news ahead, so stay with us. Welcome back. It's time now for our photo of the day. William Fowler sent in this beautiful shot of the sunset taken just outside of Whitecourt, Alberta. William tells us that cloud cover and smoke from nearby fires created this unique visual. You can keep those photos coming. You can email them to share@aptn.ca, and you could be our next photo of the day. Let's take a look now at tomorrow's weather. Off to the east coast, 19 in sunshine for St. John's, 23 in sunny in Halifax and Charlottetown. 12 with a mix of sun and cloud for La Grande River, Cujoac, 8 and showers. Saint Jean 21 and sunny, same with Quebec City. 25 and showers expected for London and Toronto, 19 in Sault Ste. Marie. 16 in showers for Sioux Lookout, Kapuskasing, showers, 15 degrees expected. Sunshine and 17 in the Paw, Puckatawagan and Thompson, both 13 in sunny skies. 17 and sunny for Winnipeg, 15 for Barons River and sunny skies there. 22 in showers for Swift Current, 19 in sunny for Yorkton. 15 for Buffalo Narrows and showers expected, 11 in rain there for Stony Rapids. 17 in cloud for Fort Chip, rain, and 18 for Fort McMurray. 17 in showers for Edmonton, 20 and sunshine for Medicine Hat and Lethbridge. 24 in showers for Kamloops, 19 in sunny in Quesnel. 14 in showers for Prince Rupert, 17 and sunny for Prince George. Whitehorse, sunshine, 18 degrees. Rock River, cloud and 10. 15 in showers expected for Wrigley, Wauhee, 14 in rain. 11 in Inuvik and cloudy skies, maybe a chance of showers. Paulituck, same thing, 7 degrees though. 8 and sunny for Baker Lake, New Yacht, 5 and sunny. Kenite and Iqaluit, both 6 and sunny. Well, before we leave you, some sad news as we express our condolences for the loss of one of our own here at APTN. Matt Thorderson passed away over the weekend. He had started working with APTN behind the scenes in 2003, then joined us in the news department here in 2006 as a reporter telling stories for APTN News and its affiliate shows. Viewers will certainly remember the impression that he made. He could do the serious political stories, of course, but Matt loved the unusual, the quirky, the offbeat, and he always added his own personal touch.
Ticket sales for Star Wars The Force Awakens could hit an all-time high, but will they compete with James Cameron's Avatar? Some say,
"You have failed me for the last time."
Matt was a Scoop adoptee. He was a survivor and originally from the Roseau River First Nation south of Winnipeg. In his younger days, he played defense for the Selkirk Steelers junior hockey team. He was 46 years old. Once again, our condolences to Matt's family and his many friends. Well, that is your APTN News to kick off the week. We thank you, of course, for joining us. I'm Melissa Ridgen, and I'll see you back here tomorrow. Have a great night.